What if I just stopped using a phone for a year? That's right, 365 days. So here's the deal. Technically been that yet. That video has just finished uploading and is being published in about 2 hours, which means I still have time because it publishes at midnight on the 1st of February. I still have 2 hours where I'm technically allowed a phone, and that's important because even though I've already transitioned, here's the phone. I did the transition like an hour ago. There is something I wanted to do, which I think would be really cool as a first vlog, and I only remembered whilst editing that video that I needed to buy a new battery for the microphone, so I'm using the phone microphone again, plugged into the smartphone, which is fine because I still have 2 hours left. So let me show you what I'm currently working on. So put simply, I have wrapped my phone in a plastic bag, and it's in this box. You're probably wondering why it's in this box. It's because I've also bought some clear silicone. I'm going to fill this with clear silicone, and then the phone will be like a little trophy. It'll be something I'm working towards and something I'll have in all of my photos. Let me just show you that it's still working. If I hit the power button, oh, it's the wrong way around. It should, yep, there you go. As you can see, it still works because it's my phone, and I'd be concerned if it didn't still work. So I'm going to turn it off and we're going to pour in the silicone. So here's the plan. I don't have a proper applicator for this thing, so instead I'm just going to cut the top off and sort of force it out with the pin. The phone is in here. Hopefully it'll just fill it up and we'll have a clear block. The purpose of a plastic bag in this scenario is to make sure that none of it seeps into the phone. Silicone has this habit of spreading like wildfire, so the less we get in the phone itself, the better. So let's give this a go. I'll be honest, it's not quite as, oh no, it's definitely liquid. It just needs to fall a bit. Okay. Now this silicone is supposed to be clear, but I'd argue that the amount we're using and the thickness it's going to be is probably beyond that spec. Unfortunately, it isn't quite as liquid as I'd hoped, so it hasn't spread underneath. Instead, I'll just put some extra on the bottom once this has dried, which is a bit of a shame. However, that's a lesson for next time, I guess. Coincidentally, the next time is right now. After a few minutes checking, it seems I've accidentally misplaced my essential phone. I'm not exactly sure where it is, so I'll do some digging and find it. And if I don't find it by midnight, then I'll show you the final product. If I do find it by midnight, then I'll film it because I need to get off this soon. What time is it? Yeah, I've got an hour and a half. I have no idea where I left it. Let me go look.
Mind the doors is trying to bear depart.
Mummy's supporting.
Nothing quite like a 40-minute delay. However, what is nice is it's snowing. Like, properly snowing. So I'm gonna go meet my dad. My parents kindly decided to pick me up. I don't know if you can see the snow, I don't think you can. Let's get outside because it is intense. This has ended up being the worst day. Oh god, it is really snowing. This ended up really being the worst day for this because there was an hour delay, and then getting in was an inconvenience as well. And a smartphone would have really helped alleviate all of my issues. So thanks, universe, for pulling that one up. Where have they gone? They've gone down there. What are they doing all the way down there? It is, you can't really see it, but it is pretty hang on, let me see if I can show you better. Oh, there we go. Look at that snow. So I just got home, quick update. I had to remove the phone from the silicone. So I just turned it on to make sure it's still functional. Because the silicone just refused to dry. It was like acetone based, so that didn't help out either. It was just terrible on all fronts. The plan is to buy food grade silicone and try again to see what happens. Hopefully that'll have a better result. For the time being though, I'm going to keep it locked away so I don't get tempted. yeah, I had the first, my mum just now was like, hey George, can you look up how to do this thing? And I'm like, how do you expect me to do that? I can't use a phone. And it was that look of like, oh yeah, you can't use a phone. So I'm gonna cheat and use my Google Home. Well, it's not cheating. I'm gonna use my Google Home on my TV to bring up YouTube videos and do that instead. Also, the battery for the microphone arrived today, so I can go stick those in the microphone and we'll have proper audio quality. So this is what the built-in microphone sounds like. It's not terrible, but it's not particularly great. The issue with it is that if there's any wind whatsoever, the audio is ruined. So let me fix this for you. Whereas if we transition to the external microphone, the audio is just so much better. And if there's wind or anything, the wind filter on it means that it'll be fine. Also, this changer closes because I filmed the previous bit like 2 days ago and I completely forgot to finish this shot. Oops. When I first made the Scroll Free for a Year video, everyone thought that the exercise bit was the bit I was joking about, amongst all other jokes, obviously, but ironically, that was probably the bit I was the most serious about. You see, more exercise is a thing that I actually want to do, and that's why this was acquired. Hang on, get out of the way. This was acquired. This bicycle allows me to cycle whilst also doing stuff on my computer, whether that be playing FIFA or watching TV, but it just keeps my mind occupied whilst I'm also physically occupied by the cycling. You see, the issue for me has always been that I hate exercising, especially on my own. If I'm playing football, that's soccer to you Americans, or something like basketball as part of a team, then it's usually fine. But when it's time for me to sit down and exercise on my own, that's always been a struggle, and that's why this support system of having something to entertain me and to occupy my mind while I try to exercise my muscles has worked so well so far. So I'm just watching this back and there seem to be some storytelling holes, so come around here because it's easier to set you up, and I'll talk you through the situation. Okay, I'll admit it, I was wrong. It wasn't easy to set you up. I'm just gonna sit on the sofa. Oh god, that ISO is terrible. Wrong way. There we go. So the deal is this: it has been almost precisely a week since I let go of my smartphone. It is currently still in my wardrobe because I forgot to buy the food grade silicone. God damn it, George. As of recording this, the silicone has now been purchased, and so that will arrive at some point in the next few days, so expect that as part of next week's vlog. And then what else is happening next week? There's lots of fun stuff happening. This week, however, I've done a lot of learning. I've realised that I need some form of music player because realistically, like as a long-term solution, the inability to play music I want just isn't going to work. And it's not even necessarily music I want, it's just not having to listen to FM radio because it is atrocious. It is just incredibly bad. And that is one of the two reasons I have for acquiring an audio recorder / player combo. Part of it is because I actually need something to be able to record my lapel mic onto, because now that I can't use a smartphone, I can't just record to a smartphone. So I have that, and it comes with, I think it's 4 GB of built-in storage, plus an SD card slot or micro SD card slot, so I could in theory add more to it. But I think I'm gonna keep a short playlist on there, nothing too major, just so I don't go insane. I've had some sort of headspace on my travel into work, and it's been great for a couple of days, but I think every single day so far this week is just too much time in my head. No one wants that much time in my head. I'm slowly going insane. Do you know how insane I'm going? There was a person who was listening on their AirPods to some music, and the sound leak on those is terrible. I hadn't realised just how leaky they are. However, I was standing directly next to them and it was music, so I was there like listening along. Oh god, it was terrible. I've also realised that although I can record stuff onto my spectacles, I have no way of getting it off of my spectacles without using a phone. So the intention is that I am actually planning on recording stuff that I want to see in a year's time. So nothing that's spur of the moment, or it will be spur of the moment, but it'll be stuff that makes sense in a year's time and things I'll want to remember. And there'll be nice little surprises when I go to set up my phone and my phone's like, you have a bajillion snaps. Oh, and also, I tried to do some online banking earlier today and it asked for my secure key password, which is something that can only be generated with a smartphone. Yeah, you guessed it. The good news is I was able to walk into a local branch and request a physical secure key, which is what they used to use before the mobile app, and that was fine. They just gave me one of those. So my keychain is slowly accruing devices. Oh, it reminds me, I don't think I told you guys, I got a YubiKey. It was part of a Wired promotion like 5 months ago, and it only arrived this week. So I've been using that for all my two-factor authentication, the physical key, which is great. I'm also considering investing in a DJI Osmo Pocket because as much as I love vlogging on the whole vlog setup, it's just a bit too clunky. And if I have the audio recorder on me anyway, I might as well use it. So we'll get some decent audio recorded as well as the really nice gimbal, and it'll be less shaky because this is shaky as hell. So it might be a good idea. I'm thinking about it, and I think that's the route I'm going to take, but we're not, I say we, I'm not 100% certain it's the route I will take. I guess we'll see. That's what the vlog's for. So if you're here next week and it starts off looking like this, but it ends up looking really different, that's what happened, and I'm sure we'll do a review on it. For the time being though, thank you for sticking around. Remember, the first link in the description is the GoFundMe to raise money for charity. Thank you to the anonymous person who put £100 on. That is epic. And then also, I did a one on Facebook as well to kind of reach out to my Facebook friends, and someone put £50 on there, so thank you to you too. It has been going way more successfully than I anticipated, which is great. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you next week when I'll be half a month into this 12-month endeavour. Oh God.